All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. Sitting on the couch at the Abbott manse, Claire tells Kyle how making peace with your family makes everything better. He thinks about how brutal the things that he and his parents said to each other were. Now he realizes it was all for him. She says that the memory will soften and they will move on. He's had to realize his parents were right about him. She's impressed and proud that he can admit that. They kiss. Kyle points out they have the house to themselves for the next few hours. That gives her an idea. She suggests they step into the kitchen for chocolate chip cookies. He chases her in as she giggles. They return with a plate of cookies and polish them off as they tease each other. She laughs about her ability to read people finally being used for good. He thanks her for all the good she's put into his life and kisses her again. It's hard for him to wrap his head around her tolerating him and his anger all these months. She never judged him. Claire reminds him she was raised on hatred and envy. He's a novice compared to what she's used to. When he tells her what a good person she is, she has to step away. She admits it's hard to take a compliment. Kyle says that everything about her is good. She's the essence of good, and everyone who she comes close to feels it. He's lucky to know her. As they keep kissing, they head up to his room. They slowly undress each other and climb into bed. After they have sex, he notices something is up. She says it's embarrassing. This was her first time and she's sorry she didn't tell him before. Kyle hopes she will trust him to listen to any of her complicated feelings. Claire explains that her life was not her own for so long. All she had was Jordan, and she couldn't be herself, only her aunt's tool. Then she realized she had a family and her real life started. That's when they got to know each other and her life went from something small and cold to something warm and wonderful. She's still sad about all she lost but so happy with what she has now. They kiss. Faith finds Lucy shivering on a park bench. She had no idea she was already back. Lucy returned the moment that she heard her father was cleared and her grandmother was driven off the road. It was so awful to see someone as tough as Phyllis looking so terrified. She's sure it must be hard on Faith to discover that her mom was the killer all along. Faith is sure that Lucy hates them all now. Lucy could never hate her after looking up to her for so long. She doesn't know what to do with all the anger she feels. Her friend doesn't know what to say about how awful and ugly all this is. At first, Lucy thought it was all a mistake, but murder? She couldn't imagine someone doing that to her mom. It was always clear that Sharon hated them, but did she plan it all this time? Faith begs her to stop. She can't handle all of this sounding so calculated. Lucy reminds her that Sharon wanted her mom off the face of the planet, and even planted evidence in her house to make Daniel look like a monster. She treated her like demon spawn for months. There's no other side to that. Sharon hated them and made them suffer. Standing to go, Faith admits she doesn't know what to believe. Lucy tells her that her mom is a monster. She can't still love her. Of course I still love her, Faith says. Lucy thinks she's delusional. Faith knows that there's nothing she can say to make things better. But she knows her mom and knows she would never do this in her right mind. Lucy isn't swallowing the insanity defense. Phyllis warned that's what they would pull and accuses her of lying to herself about her killer mother. She did it. Lucy repeats. She took her mom and tried to take her dad too. She guesses that Sharon was nice to Faith and making her snacks every single day she was doing it. Faith is sorry, but she can't listen to this and runs off. On the Crimson Lights patio, Michael refuses to let Sharon plead guilty. He tells her not to let Phyllis get under her skin. Sharon insists that her enemy was right, but the lawyer urges her not to let her case be derailed. A judge will not look kindly on her. She's sure he's brilliant enough to keep her out of prison, but that's not what she deserves. He knows she must want to do penance, but this is not the way. She needs there to be justice in the world, and there has to be a cost for robbing Heather of seeing her daughter grow up. This is something she owes to Heather and everyone who loves her. Michael wants to call Nick in, but she insists he has nothing to do with this. She's guilty and plans to make it official as soon as possible. If he won't help her do that, she will find someone who will. He asks if she thinks her kids will applaud her for this. She insists she's no role model. The least she can do is show that she knows right from wrong. The pain will go away after a period of time and they'll realize they are better off without her. The lawyer doesn't believe that. He believes in redemption and spends every day trying to be a man his wife and son are proud of. He's sure they are glad to have him around. Sharon says this is different. When he reminds her that she can't even remember what she's claiming to have done, she reminds him he's already done his time. Now it's her time to do it. He can't talk her out of that. Nick joins Chance at Society to talk about Sharon's confession. He admits that something about this is not sitting right with him. She's always been upfront about her bipolar condition. This is not Sharon. He's sure she met up with Heather and something happened. But he can't imagine it was premeditated. The blackouts may be the key to the whole thing. He's spoken to her therapist, and there must have been some massive psychological break. But if there was, how is she being so rational and coherent now? Chance admits that he never saw this coming. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. When Nick tries to piece it all together, he says it's been going on for a long time. The cop is sure that her lawyer can find things, but he's not going to chase down random theories about her medications when there is a confession on the table. The Newman is sure he can't do that officially, but he fished out some of the meds she threw into the trash after she had her dosage changed. Maybe the pills or bottle could be checked. Chance thinks he's grasping at straws, but Nick asks him to help with this. Since the detective is sure he won't drop this, he offers to see what he can do. Nick gets a text from Michael and takes off.